Dear learners, this is Shashi Ramachandran. Welcome to the fourth part of accounting terminology. Link to all the previous parts is in the description box. So today we are going to learn these accounting terms, understand the meaning of these accounting terms. So let's begin with expenses. Expenses, see, you all read about in my previous video, you read about the capital expenditure and a revenue expenditure, and I told you that revenue expenditure, which where the benefit of anything, like services or goods exhaust in within a year is termed as revenue expenditure or expenses. So expenses is nothing but the cost which is incurred in producing the goods and services for selling purpose. So the production when it takes place, the cost involved in that is termed as expenses. So examples like payment of salary, rent, advertisement, stationery payment, then even the depreciation, because it is a fall in a value of fixed assets. So that means that fixed asset has been used in the business. So that part, so which cannot be seen, it is assumed. So all these are expenses. The next term is income. Now, income in general is the difference between the revenue and expenses. So, this is the profit which is earned during the accounting period. So, I've given an example also here that goods costing rupees 2 lakh, the cost of goods is 2 lakh, and the sale is 2 lakh 60,000. So, income will be the difference of the two. Here, 2 lakh is a cost, that is expenses, and the sale value is your revenue. So revenue minus expenses is your income. Okay, now there is one more term similar to this, that is profits. So profit can be like taken as the income, or income and profit are one and the same thing, but usually we in accounting we take this term profit instead of income. Income is considered for few transactions for a smaller period, but profit is the one which is for the entire accounting period. So it is a excess of revenue over the total expenses of the business entity for an accounting period, and this profit is classified as gross profit, net profit. There is operating profit also, that we are going to learn in our later chapters. So profit here, the difference of the revenue and expenses. So these two words are of same nature, or it's similar. Fine. So if profit is excess of revenue over total expenses, then losses will be the reverse of that. That is excess of total expenses over revenue of a business entity for an accounting period. So loss, we can say that it is something which gives you nothing. Even say if you say loss by fire, loss by theft. If goods are lost by theft, or the goods are destroyed by fire, the loss of fire because of the fire. So what will happen? There is a loss. The goods are destroyed. Your number of goods are decreased, but no income has received, or no amount revenue or sale price is received. So this is something which gives you nothing. So that is the loss. And then there is a word called gain. Now this gain is not similar to profit in accounting. Income and profit can be taken as one, but gain is, the word gain is used for the transactions which are incidental to the business. That means the gain is not a like a normal course transactions what you earn, that is not a gain. So this is like once in a while, which is irregular in nature, which is non recurring in nature. So profit earned on sale of investment, or the profit on a sale of fixed assets. So old fixed asset, when you sell them, your book value shows it as 10,000, but you sold it for 12,000. So 2,000 is a gain on sale of fixed asset. It is not a profit of the business, because this sale of fixed asset is not a sale exactly. This is not termed as a sales. So this is like once in a while, or a non-recurring nature transaction. So whatever income you are earning in this will be termed as gain. Now we have some more term related to expenses and income. Now these expenses and income, outstanding expenses, accrued income, prepaid expense, advance income, these are the expense and income which basically we calculate at the end of the year for recording Okay, for recording in a final account. So to prepare the final accounts, these are the terms which are required. So let's begin with this one by one. Let's take it one by one. That is, first one is outstanding expenses. Now outstanding expenses is the expenses which is due but not paid. That means you have taken the services, you have availed the services, but still the amount has not been paid. For example, if I say there are like 12 months in a year, every month the factory rent has been paid. Okay, so it's like 12 months. Say I'm writing it here like this. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow, exact. So Jan month you pay the expenses, same like rent. Every month you are paying your rent here. Okay, sorry, Jan, Feb, March, April. Fine. So why like September, after September, you did not pay the money. October, November, December. For 3 months, the amount has not been paid. The rent has not been paid. So now here only, like end of the year, 31st of December, when you prepare your final accounts, when the firm is going to prepare the final accounts, that time firm is going to check out whether these 3 months rent been paid or not. Since you have availed the services, you have taken the services of that premises, but the rent is not paid. So now in at this particular date, this rent amount will be taken as outstanding rent. Now this outstanding rent is a obligation, it is a liability. Why liability? Because you have taken the services, you have availed the services, but not yet paid. So all these, and now, and if I say all these rents which are paid during the year, these are the expenses. These are expenses, and this part of the rent will be called as rent. Remember, the total expenses actually is the expenses which are paid in cash and the outstanding expense or outstanding rent which is due but not paid. So this becomes your total expenses when you record on 31st of December, when it is taken in the record of while preparing final accounts, you are going to take total expenses as this only. Why? Because the total 12 months expenses are supposed to be recorded. These are paid and these are outstanding. So we can say that expenses which are due but not paid is outstanding expenses, and these are recorded at the end of a period, and the related benefits have been consumed. And why it is current liability? Because you're going to pay within a year. So this is your current liability. Same way, like outstanding, there is advance expenses or prepaid. The term uses prepaid. Prepaid means the expenses that has been paid in advance. Now just check out the nature here. You paid the money but services still not availed. You haven't availed the services for the amount which is paid by you. So that means that amount which is paid, benefit still to be received. So this is your current assets. If you pay any amount in advance, that means the benefit is still to be received in future. So that becomes your current asset. Why I'm saying current here? Because this usually we pay advance money, or the outstanding stands for 2 months, 3 months, or like within a year only such advances are paid. If the advance is paid for more than 1 year, of course we'll be treating it as a fixed asset, not a current asset. Okay, and this also is recorded at the end of the period, because if we actually calculated 31st December at the time of closing of our books, final accounts. That time, what is the position? Whether we have taken the money back, or some adjustment been done, or it is still same way that it's a advance and we haven't taken any services. Okay, so this is here the related benefits to be availed in the following years. Now, this was about expenses. Outstanding, due but not paid, prepaid, paid but not availed the services. Now, same way there are income. Now, accrued income, the term uses accrued when income is due but it hasn't received, but the amount has not been received by the business. Income due here means income earned. You already earned the income. That means benefits you have given. So you already earn the income. Services, you have already given the services. That means, say, if I say, like for example, some AC service, you are getting this air condition services done in your house, and the person you called and you asked him to service, get this AC service done, and he did it. And after that you said, "Okay, okay, I'll be paying you tomorrow." So for one day, that becomes his accrued income, or you can say it's a current asset for him. Why? Because he has already given the services. Then he can say, this one, for this amount is, I earned this amount because I've given the services, but still amount is not received. So it's a current asset for him because he's going to receive this money in future. Fine. Okay. Now, in case you haven't taken any services from the air condition serviceman, so what will happen? Now it's not a income. Why not? Because it is not earned yet. No services has been availed, so it's not earned. So it's like it's so we can say that when the services are availed, they the income is earned. Now this income, if it is earned but not yet received, then it becomes accrued income. This also is recorded at the end of the year. Related benefit have been provided, benefits are given, but the money is not received, so it is your current assets. There is one another term for it, unexpired income. This is for pre advance income. And when the advance income is given, income received in advance, this is income, so you are receiving now. Expenses you are paying, so income received in advance. So when you receive the uh, income, now you receive the money in advance, but still you have to provide services. Service or goods are not yet provided. So now it's your liability. It is an obligation for the business. Why? Because this has to be, either you have to pay the money back or you have to provide the services. So it becomes your obligation. It is your current liability, because within few days, you have to, few days or months, you have to provide the services. So outstanding expenses due but not paid, expenses due but not paid. Accrued income, expense income earned but not received. Prepaid expenses, expenses given in advance. Unexpired income, income received in advance. I hope it's clear. So moving to the next one, we are going to learn new terms, debtors and creditors. So let's understand this concept. Okay, now here the term debtors and creditors, we are going to introduce these two now, debtors and creditor. A firm has sold goods, firm sells the goods to Mohan, and of course he's supposed to pay the money, but this is on credit, that Mohan hasn't paid amount to the firm. Now for the firm, Mohan is a debtor. Why? He purchased the goods on credit, so Mohan is a debtor for the firm. So who is a debtor? A person who owes money to the firm is called as a debtor. Okay, same way, if I see from the Mohan's point of view, firm is a creditor. For Mohan, firm is a creditor. Creditor is a person to whom firm owns, or you can say to whom the person owes. So here Mohan owes money to firm. So for Mohan, firm is a creditor. Okay, so I hope debtor concept is clear. Let's understand this creditor concept uh, in a different manner. Why I'm saying? Because now we are learning that everything is to be recorded from the firm's point of view. So if I talk about firm, firm here, when the goods are sold on the credit, then firm is a creditor. For firm, Mohan is a debtor. Okay, let's see. As I said that firm sold goods to Mohan, Mohan is a debtor. Now firm, if firm purchases goods from Sohan and there is no payment done, this is on credit. Now what will happen? For the firm, Sohan is a creditor. Who is a Sohan now? Sohan is a creditor. Why? Because the money has not been paid and the firm is debtor for him. For Sohan, firm is a debtor because Sohan has to take the money from firm. So a creditor is a person to whom firm owes money. So here the important thing what you have to remember is every time you have to record from the point of view of firm. For firm, goods sold on credit will make the person debtor. For firm, goods purchased on credit will make the person creditor. Firm will record Mohan as debtor and Sohan as creditor. Okay, so here, like remember one more thing. Actually, debtor is a broader category. Here, the list of is given, like and those people, those who owes money to the firm, that list is under debtors. So debtor is a broader category. Debtor represent all the person who owes money to the firm. Creditors represent all the person to whom firm owes money. Okay, now there is one more concept related to this debtors and creditors, that bills of exchange, which is bills receivable and bills payable. Okay. Now this says that, now you know that the firm is a creditor and Mohan is a debtor. For firm, Mohan is a debtor. Firm has to, like Mohan owes money to the firm. For firm, Mohan is a debtor, or you can say it's a current asset, isn't it? Mohan has to pay money to firm. What firm can do? Now there is, we can say, as a debtor, Mohan can give any time. There is no condition applied. It's not legally, he is not bound. What makes him legally bound is he can write a bills of exchange, or you can say he can draft a bill stating that, he can draw a bill or a draft a bill which states that it's a order or a promise that you are going to pay my money within 3 months on such and such date. So he sent this draft to Mohan. Now Mohan, on the other hand, accepts it. Once he accepts this bill, acceptance here means signing the bill and agreeing for that. Then in that case, this acceptance is sent back to the firm. This process, after this process, Mohan becomes a bills receivable and firm is a bills payable. Like Mohan, from the category of debtors, Mohan's name will be written under bills receivable. Means as a debtor, now this, if you can understand, the nature wise it's same. Money is still not received by the firm. Firm hasn't received any money. Both are current asset. Why? As a debtor, Mohan was supposed to pay the money. Now instead of debtor, he is in a list of bills receivable, means he has signed a legal bill which states that he is going to give this money on such and such date. So it becomes a legal bill. So now both are current assets only. In both the cases, if his name is in the debtor or bills receivable, he is supposed to pay the money. Now there are actually why it happens, like this bills receivable gives a lot of benefit to the firm. So again, this we are going to learn in our later chapters. So right now, only thing that bills of exchange is bills receivable and bills payable. So you can say, if money is sorry, bills of exchange is drawn by a person directing another person to pay the specific sum of money. So if it is directing other person to pay this amount, okay, that becomes a legal bill. And also acceptance is important. The person so directed must accept it so that it becomes a bills of exchange. If he doesn't accept it, then it is not considered as a bills of exchange. So we learned about debtors. Mohan was a debtor and then he becomes a bills receivable. So there are people who are under debtors category, and then there are people who are under bills receivable. Both are current asset, and both together is termed as trade receivables. Okay, as per Companies Act 2013, now it's shown in the balance sheet in such a manner, in under this category, trade receivable is a sum total of debtors and bills receivable. Same way, trade payable is a sum total of creditors and bills payable. So hope you like this video. Share this video with your friends and do subscribe to my channel Exuberant Learners. Also click on the bell icon to get the latest updates on my channel. Thank you.